In the magnificent story of the ancient world, tracing lost civilizations means a journey into the depths of time. This tracking adventure sheds light on the past of humanity. Through the Mycenaean Greek, Hittite, ancient Indian, and Mayan civilizations. These civilizations, each of which charted their own unique paths and wrote their own stories, influenced the geographies they lived in and left important legacies in the fields of art, culture, and technology. In this text, we will explore the origins, rise, peak, and ultimate collapse of these four great civilizations. We will follow these deep lost traces by examining how the Mycenaean Greek influenced Greece, how the Hittites shaped Anatolia, how the ancient Indian civilization grew with the abundance of the river, and how the Mayan civilization left a rich cultural heritage. Each civilization experienced a peak in its uniqueness and disappeared into the lap of time, leaving a mystery behind. This tracking adventure opens the doors of the past and is a tribute to forgotten civilizations. Mycenaean Greece, or the Mycenaean civilization, was the last phase of the Bronze Age in ancient Greece, spanning the period from approximately 1750 to 1050 BC. It represents the first advanced and distinctively Greek civilization in mainland Greece with its palatial states, urban organization, works of art, and writing system. The Mycenaeans were mainland Greek peoples who were likely stimulated by their contact with insular Minoan Crete and other Mediterranean cultures to develop a more sophisticated socio-political culture of their own. The most prominent site was Mycenae, after which the culture of this era is named. Other centers of power that emerged included Pylos, Tiryns, and Medea in the Peloponnese, or Komnenos, Thebes, and Athens in central Greece, and Iolcos in Thessaly. Mycenaean settlements also appeared in Epirus, Macedonia, on islands in the Aegean Sea, on the southwest coast of Asia Minor, and on Cyprus. While Mycenaean-influenced settlements appeared in the Levant and Italy, the Hittites were an Anatolian Indo-European people who formed one of the first major civilizations of Bronze Age West Asia, possibly originating from beyond the Black Sea. They settled in modern-day Turkey in the early 2nd millennium BC. The Hittites formed a series of polities in north-central Anatolia, including the Kingdom of Kasara before 1750 BC, the Kanish or Nesha Kingdom c. 1750 to 1650 BC, and an empire centered on Hattusa around 1650 BC, known in modern times as the Hittite Empire. It reached its height during the mid-14th century BC under Suppilulium I, when it encompassed most of Anatolia and parts of the northern Levant and upper Mesopotamia. Between the 15th and 13th centuries BC, the Hittites were one of the dominant powers of the Near East, coming into conflict with the new Kingdom of Egypt, the Middle Assyrian Empire, and the Empire of Mitanni for control of the region. By the 12th century BC, much of the Hittite Empire was annexed by the Middle Assyrian Empire, with the remainder sacked by Phrygian newcomers to the region. From the late 12th century BC, during the Late Bronze Age collapse, the Hittites splintered into several small, independent Syro-Hittite states, some of which survived until the 8th century BC before succumbing to the Neo-Assyrian Empire, lacking a unifying continuity. Their descendants scattered and ultimately merged into the modern populations of the Levant, Turkey, and Mesopotamia. Scholars once attributed the development of iron smelting to the Hittites, who were believed to have monopolized ironworking during the Bronze Age. This theory has been increasingly contested in the 21st century, with the Late Bronze Age collapse and subsequent Iron Age seeing the slow, comparatively continuous spread of ironworking technology across the region. While there are some iron objects from Bronze Age Anatolia, the number is comparable to that of iron objects found in Egypt and in other places from the same period, and only a small number of these objects are weapons. X-ray fluorescence spectrometry suggests that most or all irons from the Bronze Age are derived from meteorites. The Hittite military also made successful use of chariots. The cities of the ancient Indus were noted for their urban planning, baked brick houses, elaborate drainage systems, water supply systems, clusters of large non-residential buildings, and techniques of handicraft and metallurgy. Mohenjo-Daro, and Harappa very likely grew to contain between 30,000 and 60,000 individuals. And the civilization may have contained between 1 and 5 million individuals. During its florescence, a gradual drying of the region during the 3rd millennium BC may have been the initial stimulus for its urbanization. Eventually, it also reduced the water supply, enough to cause the civilization's demise and to disperse its population to the east. The Maya civilization was a Mesoamerican civilization that existed from antiquity to the early modern period. It is known by its ancient temples and glyph script. The Maya script is the most sophisticated and highly developed writing system in the pre-Columbian Americas. The civilization is also noted for its art, architecture, mathematics, calendar, and astronomical system. The Maya civilization developed in the Maya region, an area that today comprises southeastern Mexico, all of Guatemala and Belize, and the western portions of Honduras and El Salvador. It includes the northern lowlands of the Yucatan Peninsula and the Guatemalan highlands of the Sierra Madre, the Mexican state of Chiapas, southern Guatemala, El Salvador, and the southern lowlands of the Pacific Littoral Plain. Today, their descendants, known collectively as the Maya, number well over 6 million individuals, speak more than 28 surviving Mayan languages, and reside in nearly the same area as their ancestors. The Archaic period, before 2000 BC, saw the first developments in agriculture and the earliest villages. The Preclassic period c. 2000 BC to 250 AD saw the establishment of the first complex societies in the Maya region, and the cultivation of the staple crops of the Maya diet, including maize, beans, squashes, and chili peppers. The first Maya cities developed around 750 BC, and by 500 BC these cities possessed monumental architecture, including large temples with elaborate stucco facades. Hieroglyphic writing was being used in the Maya region by the 3rd century BC. In the late Preclassic, a number of large cities developed in the Petén Basin, and the city of Camonaljuyu rose to prominence in the Guatemalan highlands, beginning around 250 AD. The Classic period is largely defined as when the Maya were raising sculpted monuments, with long count dates. This period saw the Maya civilization develop many city-states linked by a complex trade network. In the Maya lowlands to great rivals, the cities of Tikal and Calakmul became powerful. The Classic period also saw the intrusive intervention of the central Mexican city of Teotihuacan. In Maya dynastic politics, in the 9th century, there was a widespread political collapse in the central Maya region, resulting in civil wars, the abandonment of cities, and a northward shift of population. The post-Classic period saw the rise of Chichen Itza in the north, and the expansion of the aggressive Quiche kingdom in the Guatemalan highlands. In the 16th century, the Spanish Empire colonized the Mesoamerican region, and a lengthy series of campaigns saw the fall of Nochpitan, the last Maya city, in 1697. Rule during the Classic period centered on the concept of the divine king, who was thought to act as a mediator between mortals and the supernatural realm. Kingship was usually, but not exclusively, patrilineal, and power normally passed to the eldest son. A prospective king was expected to be a successful war leader, as well as a ruler. Closed patronage systems were the dominant force in Maya politics, although how patronage affected the political makeup of a kingdom varied from city-state to city-state. By the late Classic period, the aristocracy had grown in size, reducing the previously exclusive power of the king. The Maya developed sophisticated art forms using both perishable and non-perishable materials, including wood, jade, obsidian, ceramics, sculpted stone monuments, stucco, and finely painted murals. In this journey into the depths of the ancient world, we met the Mycenaean Greek, Hittite, ancient Indian, and Mayan civilizations. These civilizations, each carrying their own unique story, have disappeared in the flow of time, but they continue to remain alive in our memory with the works they left their traces. In this tracking adventure, we tried to touch the lost civilizations and remember their stories by traveling deep into the past. These stories are pieces of the past that leave their mark forever on the complex fabric of the ancient world.